Hi, I am Renmark, and welcome to our video tutorial about Java programming. In this video, we will talk about Lesson 2, which is setting up Java. So let's get started. First things first, what will you need in order to start coding in Java? In terms of computer hardware, the minimum requirement you will need is at least a Pentium 200 MHz computer with a minimum of 64 MB of RAM, which I assure you have a computer unit that has a far better specs than what is stated as the minimum requirement. Aside from a computer unit with an operating system, the following are also required to be installed. First, you have to install the latest JDK or the Java Development Kit, and at least you have a text editor such as a Notepad, Notepad++, Sublime, and etc. Now, we will going to demonstrate how to install JDK on our machine. For demonstration purposes, I will going to open my Windows Sandbox. Naka-install na kasi yung JDK doon sa aking actual machine. Now, to download the latest JDK, all we have to do is open our browser. In my case, ang available ko lang dito is Microsoft Edge. And yeah, that's sad. So, hindi na ako nag-install ng ibang browser dito kasi once na close ko yung session ng Sandbox, lahat ng mga ginawa ko dito will be erased. Instead of using virtual machine, I used Windows Sandbox instead. So, just going to type google.com. Once na nasa Google na tayo, we can simply type JDK. And then we will going to wait for the page to load. Once loaded, we will be redirected to this page, and kailangan lang nating hanapin yung pinaka-latest na JDK. Okay, so once the Oracle's webpage loaded, kailangan lang nating hanapin yung pinaka-latest na JDK. So, we're going to click this JDK download, and then as you can see, the latest version of JDK is version 14. Now, imamatch lang natin yung version dun sa kung anong gamit nating operating system. In my case, gumagamit ako ng Windows 10, 64-bit, so ito yung gagamitin natin. You just have to click this, and then you have to check the checkbox that you are accepting the Oracle Technology License Agreement, and so on and so forth. And then you can hit download JDK. So, wait for that download to finish, and then once it is finished, then we're good. So, pinre-download ko na yung JDK kasi medyo mabilis ang internet namin dito. So, ito po ang JDK. Yan. So, once downloaded, we will now going to install this JDK. So, you just have to double-click this one. Okay, preparing to install. Then, you just have to hit next, next, and then you just have to wait for this to finish. Once finished, we will just going to click close. Now, since we successfully installed JDK, ang kailangan natin gawin is we will going to set up the environment setup. Kasi, as you can see, when we run the command prompt like this, and then we type Java, and then we press enter, sasabihin niya na ang word ang program na Java is still not recognized as an internal or external command operable program or batch file. Later, once we type Java, pwede na natin gamitin yung java.exe para makapag-compile tayo or javac para makapag-compile tayo ng ating source code. So our next topic is about setting up the environmental variable of Java. So setting up the environment variable. Before we proceed further, it is important that we set up the Java environment correctly. Once you installed Java on your machine, you would need to set the environment variables to point correct installation directories. The reason why we need to set up the environment variable is because when we compile a Java code, you need to execute the javac.exe, which is under the bin directory where the JDK is installed on Windows. So, pakita natin kung saan. Typically, naka-install ang ating Java doon sa directory na pinili natin, which is program files, Java, and then JDK14. Under here, the bin, we can see the Java program, this one. So, ito yung path ng ating Java program. So, kailangan nating ipakilala kung saan yung path ng ating program dun sa ating environment variable later on. Okay? So, without setting the path environment variable, every time you compile or run the Java program, you have to provide the complete path of javac, which is pretty hassle, especially if you don't have an IDE installed yet. So, kapag hindi natin ginawa yung environment variable, sa kada magko-compile tayo ng ating Java program, kailangan mo include yung buong path, which is yung c:\program files /java /jdk the version /bin. So, that would be very, very hassle. So, papakita ko sa inyo kung paano natin isi-set up yung path for Windows. Assuming you have installed Java in this directory or path, you just have to right-click on your computer and select Properties, click Advanced Settings or System Settings, then click on the Environment Variable button under the Advanced tab. And we will going to alter the path variable so that it contains the path to the Java executable file. An example, if the path is currently set to c:\Windows Systems 32, then magdadagdag lang tayo ng isa pang path pointing to the bin directory. So, papakita ko sa inyo ngayon paano siya gagawin. Madali lang naman siyang gawin, huwag kayong mag-alala. So, from this PC, you're going to take a right click and then Properties, or that's the fastest way kasi na alam ko. And then, you go to change settings over here sa computer name, domain, and work settings para makarating tayo dito sa system properties. So, alam ko maraming way para makarating dito sa system properties. Any of the ways are valid. So, kailangan lang natin gawin is pumunta tayo doon sa Advanced tab. Under the Environment Variables, hahanapin natin dito sa System Variables yung variable na ang pangalan ay path. At ang gagawin natin, we will just going to click edit at magdadagdag lang tayo ng entry dito. Kasi currently, there are 5 current entries dito. So, para hindi mawala yan, kailangan lang natin magdagdag. So, kailangan lang natin kunin yung path kung saan naka-install yung Java, which is, in my case, that is located at drive C, program files, Java, JDK14, and then bin. Hanggang dito sa bin yung kokopyahin natin. We can simply hit copy, and then in here, we double click and then paste the path dito. So, ito na yung path ng ating Java. We click OK, click OK, click OK, then we are actually set. How do we know? Madali lang. Open ulit natin ang CMD, kagaya kanina. And then when we type Java, as you can see, meron na siyang pinakitang output. Hindi na siya nag-error. Makikita na natin dito na pwede na natin gamitin yung mga component niya kagaya ng javac. So, we're going to continue writing our first Java program. To verify if we succeeded in setting up our environment variable, we will be writing our first Java program. Let us look at the simple code that would print the words "Hello World" into the screen. So, as you can see, we have here Java source code kung saan after natin ni-run to, it will going to print "Hello World." Susubukan natin gawin yan mamaya. So, pakita lang muna natin yung mga additional instructions. So, here are the instructions to be followed in order for us to accomplish our goal. You can pause the video for a while and take time to read the step-by-step procedures displayed in this slide. So, let's start. First, we open a text editor program. In my case, I will just going to use Notepad and we will going to add the code that we saw in the previous slide. Later, we will going to save the file as my first Java program, .java, and I will going to save that file just in the desktop. Then, I will going to open command prompt and will go to the directory where I saved the class. In my case, it's in desktop, so I'll just going to type cd desktop since I'm already at the users folder. So next, we will be going to compile our source code using the command javac, which means Java compile. Then the file name, which is my first Java program .java, and I'll going to press enter to compile my source code into a bytecode. So you will going to observe later that a separate file will be generated in the desktop, which has a file extension of that class, and that is an example of a bytecode, which we discussed in lesson 1, which is responsible why Java is platform independent. If there are no errors in our code, the command will prompt and will take us to the next line. So to run the program, we will going to type Java and then the name of the class without the file extension, and after that, we should able to see the hello world output on the screen, thanks to the Java virtual machine translating the bytecode into the instruction that the computer can understand. So without further ado, let's start the demonstration. So in here, I'm going to open a simple text editor such as a notepad. So first is we will going to put our class name. So public class. Allow me to increase the font. 28. So public class, my first Java program. And then inside our class, we're going to type the main method, which is public static void main, then open and close. And then inside here, we will going to type string, open and close square brackets, and then args. Inside the main method, we will going to type system.out.print, and then simply print the word hello world followed by a semicolon. So this is the code that we need. Again, we just have to save this. So go to file, then save, or just simply Control S, and then I'll going to save it in the desktop. I'll going to name it. By the way, if you're using Notepad, you have to make sure that whatever your class name, which is my first Java program, that will also be the file name of your Java program unless it will not run. So the file name would be the same with the class name. So my first Java program, and then we will going to append that Java at the end. And for compatibility sakes, we will going to select all files under the save as type, and then we're going to click save. And then let's wait. There it is, our source code or our Java source code. Now, for us to run this Java source code, we will going to open CMD. Now, since I am inside the users folder, under the user WD utility account, which is ito yun. If titignan natin directory structure, under the users folder, so C users, under this folder, okay, currently nandito tayo, okay, users WDAG utility account. We just have to go sa desktop para puntahan natin yung ating file na my first Java program. So to do that, we're going to type cd, meaning change directory, and then type desktop and then press enter. So since nasa desktop na tayo, kailangan lang natin gawin is i-compile yung ating Java program gamit ang command na javac or java compile, and then we're going to type the file name of our Java program, which is my first Java program.java, and then we press enter. If walang error, tutuloy lang tayo at makikita natin na may bagong file na create. Tulad nga na sinabi ko, ang magiging file extension ng file na to is .class. Ang .java is yung source code na ginawa natin. Nung ginamit natin ang javac or java compile, the Java compiled our source code into what we call bytecode. Yun yung sinasabi nating dahilan kung bakit nagiging platform independent yung mga Java program. So yung bytecode na to is, as you can see, ito yung itsura niya kapag tinrag natin siya sa loob ng Java. Hindi siya native currently doon sa Windows. So, ang babasa ng bytecode na to, hindi ang Windows operating system, kung hindi ang Java virtual machine na naka-install dito sa machine na to. So, to do that, we will just going to hit Java, the actual program Java, and then the class name, which is my first Java program. Dito, ang binubuksan natin ay ang ating source code. Kino-compile natin ang source code kaya meron siyang file extension na Java. Sa line na to, ang ginagawa naman natin is tinatranslate natin yung ating bytecode na my first Java program, dahil ito yung .class, hindi required ang paglalagay ng file extension dito, by the way, gamit ang command na Java. After pressing enter, I should see hello world na text do sa screen. So, if wala tayong mga nakitang error, ibig sabihin, tama yan. Ngayon, if by chance, halimbawa, maglalagay tayo ng error, sasadyain natin. So, nagtanggal ako ng double quotes, and then I hit save. Ngayon, if we will going to rerun this, kailangan natin siya ulit i-compile. You have to remember that kasi may ginawa tayong changes. If I hit enter, then there will be an error prompting us na there is an error sa line 3, which is tinuturo niya itong double quote. Ibig sabihin, may isang double quotes na hindi na isara. So, hindi tayo pwedeng tumuloy hanggat meron tayong error doon sa ating Java source code. So, save lang ulit. And then, we recompile. After natin mag-compile, we will just going to rerun the program. And again, as you can see, there is our hello world. Okay? So, we already saw the hello world printed on the window. I hope you learned something sa lesson nating ito, and that's the end of lesson 2. If you loved this video, kindly drop a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.